right, all right, all right, all right. Come on, man. We are on the Life and Health Show today, and happy to roll with y'all. We got a very interesting topic today to discuss in the series on hypertension. And so we're hoping that you can stick with us through the end of the show so you can actually understand and learn something. So if you are watching, thanks for tuning in to the show and the Life and Health Show. I'm Dr. Oteng, and my beautiful wife is
Dr. Gifty
Oh,
Oteng.
come on, man. You are on live with the doctors, pharmacists, as we can say, herbal remedies for hypertension. Are they myth or are they really medicine? Are they really stuff we can rely on? And so that is what we are going to be doing. And with that being said, we're just going to hit the ball rolling and see what we have in store for our presentation. So if you are watching us on YouTube main page, we have a list of the outline that we're going to go through. The first one is we're going to be talking about garlic, what garlic is and how it's important in blood pressure. And then from there, we're going to go to one other herb that I can hardly pronounce it, but at least you can see it is called hawthorn or hawthorn, depending on your accent. And then from there, we're going to go to
we will talk about hibiscus tea and green tea. And we will also go through how basil, if there is any active ingredients in there that can help reduce blood pressure.
basil. All right. Basil is it a vegetable? Or they use spice or something
It's
like
a
that,
spice.
right? All right. So we're going to get into that. And then from that, we're going to be doing something called prekese or Eden fruit. I didn't know prekese was actually its real name until when we started writing up stuff and searching. So prekese is actually its real name from the West African area. And other people may know it by the name Eden fruit. So we're going to talk about what it has to offer when it comes to hypertension control, and then from that we will, prelude next week's show, a very great show we have planned out for you, where we're going to be talking to an oncologist by name Dr. Juliet Kwanzaa. And so that is our outline for today. And if you are joining us, don't forget to let us, as Gifty says, register your presence. Say, present, sir, I'm here, this is me. And then we can, we will know what you know.
With the precursor, I love the botanical name, which is tetraplara. Right?
Yeah, tetrapleura, tetraterra. My goodness, that's huge. All right. Yeah, are you saying anything about that, or you just
I just
teasing it
love
out?
the botanical name, the scientific name.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
All right. So you can tell Gifty likes big names and big words. I can barely wrap my mind around it, and she is already into it. Tetrapleura, tetraptera. Come on, man. That's huge. Now, if this doesn't do anything to the blood pressure, you should throw it out because it's too hard to say, right? All right. So we are moving forward then. Now, with that being said, what is our next? We're actually going to start off with garlic. We told you all the things. To be complete, we should say that our presentation, we have tried to give you some pictures of the things that we know are out there that we're going to talk about. You may not find them looking the same as we are showing them. And the reason being that it may look different from how they grow it or how it's harvested in your area. So if ours looks like it's different color, it's all right. As long as it's called that name in your area and it's different color or different shape of leaf, go with it. And some of the leaves, the herbs that we are going to show, we actually haven't seen them before. We have heard and read and studied about them in school and stuff, and also in our practice. But because we are not into natural medicine, we cannot tell you that this is how exactly it looks. We are showing images, representative images of what they look like. So don't go out there picking up leaves and say that those people say this is what it is. No. Make sure that you talk to people who are in your area who know what they actually look, in case you want to pick up any of those things, so that you don't go and pick up poison and blame us for that. Come on, man. All right. So that is just by the way. And unless you have any other thing to say by the way. All right. So we will move forward then. So the first thing we said is what we call garlic, right? Garlic. So how does garlic is pretty much a common name when it comes to natural medicines, mentioned a lot. We dealt with garlic with some of our patients over a variety of disease conditions, and it comes up most of the time with blood pressure and also sometimes with cholesterol. But at least today we are talking about hypertension. So, what has garlic got to do with hypertension? And let me start off.
Yeah, so with garlic, there is a compound in garlic called allicin. Allicin, Allicin, allicin. And this compound in garlic has a property of it being vasodilator. So it dilates the blood vessels. Then because of that, it causes the blood flow easily. So it's not a myth that you can hear, or you hear people saying that garlic can be used to lower blood pressure. The reason why they are saying that, there has been a lot of study of this substance in garlic called allicin, and this substance in garlic is a vasodilator.
Now you're making it too scientific.
Simply put,
yes,
it relaxes the blood vessels, so it makes the blood pressure move freely.
the blood move free, and then
The blood move freely in the tubes. So the vessels being dilated or relaxes, it lowers blood pressure. But the caveat here is, how much of garlic do you have to take in order to see that effect? So I know there are pills out there that people have make it in a capsule form that you can take it, and that will reduce your blood pressure. But so the main topic is like, is it a myth, or
is it real medicine?
is it real medicine? There is something in there that makes it medicine. So it's not a myth. But the caveat here, the problem here that we are trying to bring across is, you have to take a lot of garlic. You have to know the right quantity, or the portion size, or the dose that will really affect the level of blood pressure. So with the research that we did, we realized that if you take it continuously for 12 weeks, then the blood pressure can drop up to 8
millimeter mercury. Yeah.
Yes, so it goes down all right, but it's very small as compared to the conventional medicine out there. So it does have a property of medicinal, but how much you take and how long you should take it before you see just a little drop in blood pressure is something that we want you to consider.
All right. So definitely garlic is proven to have medicinal properties, which is good. But another good property is that we got somebody that is registering their presence, and their name here is Mr. Richard Boateng. And thank you for joining us. Come on, man. Thank you for joining. And I'm pretty sure there are more people. If you join, just make sure you register yourself so we will know who you are. All right. So, yeah, so garlic has that medicinal property, all right? So if you hear people saying that, oh, I take garlic and it reduces my pressure, there's truth in it. There's truth in it. But I think the thing that I'll emphasize from what Gifty said is how much truth. How much is it going to reduce your blood pressure? And another thing is, what dose are you going to need to even get that amount of blood pressure reduction? You mentioned that it reduces by 8, right? By 8 millimeter mercury. And you have to take it for 12 weeks before you see that 8 millimeter mercury. And also, how much are you going to take? On the shelf, when you are dealing with garlic, you may find it as an OTC, over the counter, as capsules, which may quote and unquote be said standardized dosing and all that. But there has not been any real studies that say that this amount will bring your blood pressure this way. All we know is that tops, you're going to get about eight points down from your blood pressure. And if your blood pressure is like 140 or 160, and you're going to do garlic to bring it down to healthy levels, which we know are between 120 and maybe 130, unless your goal is 140. If you are from 160 and you are using garlic to reduce it, you do the math. The most you can get, at least from what we know, is 8. And if you are getting 8 out of 160, so you still be hanging around 152. So that makes it not enough. And that's where the point is. So yes, garlic may do something, but it doesn't do it all. And so that is the only problem with garlic. So it is okay to take garlic, knowing that it has some properties of that. And especially if you are using it as an adjunct to your treatment, you already have blood pressure medication, which is helping you out. You are taking, say, a hydrochlorothiazide, a water pill, or you are taking an ACE inhibitor, lisinopril, or you are taking a calcium channel blocker like amlodipine, and you just want to take garlic on top of that, so that if garlic brings you 8 and your medication brings you 20, then together you're going to probably get to the therapeutic level that you want, the goal. So in that respect, it will be okay. But our problem is when people say that I'm not doing any medicine, as long as I eat garlic, I'm good. And then your pressure is still up there, because all garlic is doing is 8 minus 8. And bro, sis, it doesn't help out that way. All right. So that is what garlic does as far as its use. And I think Gifty already said about how it works and everything, dilating your blood vessels. So we're going to go straight into the side effects of taking garlic. And here, some people say that natural medicines or natural stuffs, or natural stuff or herbals, they don't have medicine. When I take medicine from they don't have side effects. When I take my medicine from my doctor, there's so many side effects. When I take hydrochlorothiazide, I go to the bathroom and I pee all the time. That's how it's working, getting rid of excess salt, right? But you see that that's a problem, so you are not going to do that. Well, newsflash, the herbals also have side effects. The only thing is, because most of them have not been studied, they don't know what they are. But at least these common ones that we are bringing out today, we know some of the side effects. So some of them I'm going to listen, then I'll let Gifty also say some. The most obvious and potentially not as bad is bad breath. Come on, man. Yeah, I mean, if you eat garlic, if you want to eat enough to make sure you drop your blood pressure by 8 points that we are saying, then you're going to have to eat a lot. And if you eat a lot, you're going to have some stinky mouth. Come on, man. You're going to get bad breath. That is obvious, unless they formulate it in such a way that the smell is sticking. But it's at that point it becomes not garlic anymore, because you are removing all the ingredients from it. And then also body odor. So if you take a high amount dose of garlic, you may actually have a smell on your skin from the garlic deposits in your blood or in your skin. And so those are two of the side effects. You want to continue with some of the other ones?
Also, if you take a lot, another side effect is upset stomach. Yeah, you have stomach upset for taking garlic. So that is a side effect, because like you said, the thing that people say that I don't want to take conventional medicine because of side effect. And because of that, I'm going to go natural. The natural substance to also have its own side effect. And some people also suffer from heartburn. They take a lot and they have heartburn because you're taking in a lot of garlic, and that will lead to heartburn. So maybe because of the heartburn, you may not take it regularly. And because you're not taking it regularly, you don't even get the 8 point down because of the side effect, you are not able to keep up with it. So it's something that you have to consider. If you hear natural, it's true. Some of them do have medicinal properties, but how to keep up with it, And another thing too is, like, if you are getting it from the shelf, they are released in batches, So one batch may have up to the 8 millimeter mercury down that we are talking about. Another batch may be lower.
Less potent, yeah.
Yeah, because they are released in batches, and because there is no study really monitoring how much the level should be at, there is nothing to prove that whatever this batch work as well as the different batch, because they are producing it at different times and different locations. So this manufacturer may have it at that level, another manufacturer may have it at a lower level. And sometimes you can't find the same manufacturer. You have to change and find something else. And that something else may not have the same properties or the potency to bring down the blood pressure. So there are a lot of things that go around it. So saying that you are going to go natural, there are so many things that you have to do, and a lot more. Or the other way is simply just go see your doctor and get medication and stay on it consistently to bring down your blood pressure.
All right. And then also, with that being said, we're going to talk about some of the other toxic things that could happen with that. So, if you are taking garlic at high enough doses, that will bring your pressure low by 8 points. We want to stress that 8 points stops. Then you are most likely going to have drug interactions. If you're taking some other medications, it may interact, especially if you're taking a blood thinner, something like maybe warfarin, or even it thins your blood by itself. And so taking any blood thinner will make you bleed more because of the high dose of that. And then also, if you're on HIV medications, some of the studies suggest that there may be interactions there. And so that will also have a problem with it. And then if you're on a birth control, that could also be a problem. So all these things are things that you need to consider when you choose natural medicines. Not that traditional conventional medicines don't have interactions, they do. But if you decide to get the benefit of garlic in your diet, or as an add-on to your treatment, whether for blood pressure or cholesterol, then make sure that you mention it to your doctor so that they will monitor your levels in terms of your liver function, and if it is your blood is blood thinner that you're on, they ensure that you are not excessively blood thinned. Your blood is not thinned excessively. So with that, we can go to the next one, right? All right. So the next one, I think, if I can move my cursor now, it's one that I had to say Hawthorne for blood pressure. Hawthorne for blood pressure, and this is an image that we are showing for Hawthorne. It could be the fruit of that herb, or the leaves, depending on who is making it, that is being used for the medicinal purpose. And again, this also has some medicinal purposes. It's been also the studies show that they may have vasodilation properties, just kind of like what garlic does. It's going to make your blood vessels relax, so that when they relax, blood can flow easily, and your heart doesn't have to pump so harder. And in that case, your blood pressure is lower. So that is another way that this herb also works. So hawthorn may work with the same in the same way as a garlic does, by dilating your blood vessels. Again, I don't have the numbers for how much lower your blood pressure could be reduced by hawthorn or hawthorn, however you say it. But I can say that it's not going to be high enough for you to stop your medications if you're on medication. If you are not diagnosed as hypertensive, but you're maybe borderline and you want to be taking something just to help you and prevent you from getting hypertensive, especially if you're not taking any medication, for any other thing, so you're not worried about drug interactions, then I'm pretty sure it would not be something that is going to hurt. But if you are on a medication, then you got to again be careful because of the potential for interactions and the like. You have anything to add for the side effects?
No, let's go to the side effect. And with the side effects, I have it here as it can cause nausea, it can cause fatigue, and it can also cause sedation. So though it's natural, all right, it also have side effect. So that idea that, oh, I'm going to go natural, you have to think about the side effect. They also have side effect. So with the hawthorn, if you go to the natural foods, you can see a lot of bottles over there saying blood pressure of food or supplements, because it's not tried or approved, studied and approved by FDA. They can't say it's medicine here in this location. They will say it's a supplement. So you go to the supplement section, you go to the vitamin section, you see all these bottles over there claiming that it's lower your blood pressure. It does, but how much is what we are. So we are saying that if you have not been diagnosed, you are borderline, you are eating right, you are exercising, you are doing all the basics, and you just want a supplement, something to add on to make sure that your blood pressure do not go up. This is a vessel dilator and definitely is going to affect your blood pressure. Not so much, but something.
You get something out
Yeah,
of it.
but we are also cautioning you that if you are not even hypertensive, but you are diabetic or you are on other medications, then you have to consider the interaction. So interaction basically means that it's going to prevent the other drug from working as well, or is going to increase the side effects of other drugs. So before you take any supplement, however you want to use it for, you have to talk to your doctor. That's why sometimes when you are going to your doctors, they encourage you to bring your herbs and OTCs and vitamins with you. Because if you go, they look at them and just see to make sure that it does not interact with your other medications. So before you start anything and you are on other medications, if you don't have anything, if you don't take anything, you may be okay. But if you are a female and you are taking birth control, you have to still talk to somebody because that can inhibit the effectiveness of the birth control, and you may have a surprise baby,
Oh, come on,
which
man.
you don't want that to happen. So there may be interactions with some herbs too that you have to be careful.
Surprise babies. My
Yes,
goodness. You
yes.
don't want that, right? I mean, if it's a surprise, it's a surprise. Anyway, surprise gifts are good, right?
If you're ready.
If you're ready. All right. So I think the only other thing that I'll add is the potential. I think you actually said it. And for the interactions, if you're also on an anxiety medication, it may also bother it. It may not make things work right for you. And if you have heart disease and you have diabetes, you potentially stand a chance of making things worse, whether it interacts with the diabetes medications or with the disease itself. So definitely make sure that before you take it, you have spoken to your doctor about it. But as to whether or not it's a myth or medicine, this one, what would we say?
Yeah, it's a vasodilator.
So it's a medicine?
It's medicine.
All right, all right. So Hyper wins as a medicine. It's a medicine, it's not a myth. Just that not all medicines have been studied or quantified or researched enough to be recommended easily, like the conventional medicine that we work with. Conventional medicine, if I'm telling you that I'm going to give you amlodipine, I can tell you I'm giving you 2.5 milligrams or 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams, and you know that that is what it is. But if I'm taking hawthorn leaves or hawthorn juice or whatever, I can't really say how much I'm giving. And even if I can, it's not proven because no government agency supervised any research for that. And then also the obvious reasons of drug interactions are very much. So yeah, it can qualify as a medicine, but not all medicines are safe. Not all medicines are recommended for people. So be careful when you do Hawthorne. Now,
I have a question, but
I think somebody has a question there. All right, let's put a question up and see. Saying that Richard is saying, Doctor, please, can I replace cooking oil with palm oil? Oh, come on, man. So, yes, that's a good question. And can we go forward for it?
okay.
All right. So, yes, cooking oil. By cooking oil, I'm thinking you are talking about clear oils, right? Like a regular conventional, vegetable oil or stuff like that. And the question is, can I replace that with palm oil? And this thing has, I think, it has shown up in one of our shows, right?
Between cholesterol, good
Yes,
oils.
when we're treating cholesterol. But that being said, we'll say something about it. And when you get a chance, make sure you binge on all those cholesterol shows because from your question, I think you are concerned not only by blood pressure, but also by cholesterol. Not to say that oils don't also have effect on blood pressure, they do. So high fat diet, according to the United States Joint Commission on JNC, For short, they know that if you want to reduce your blood pressure, you cut back on fatty meals. So it means that oils can also increase your blood pressure. So your question is in place. It's appropriate. Now, my answer is palm oil depends on the kind of palm oil. Palm oil, traditionally, initially, palm oil was really good. And for those who don't know what palm oil is the oil that is gotten from the peel of palm, of the palm fruit. So the palm fruit, which is ripe, which is red, you make some solutions from it, and then you get an oil out of that. And that oil traditionally looks red, just kind of like the fruit itself, the palm fruit. But what has started happening these days is that because of commercial purposes and the need for profit, some people have been adding fat to it, and real animal fat to it. When I was younger, I'm still young, but when I was really young, when I was really younger, when you saw palm oil rarely settled unless it was in a colder place. They usually are all at room temperature, liquid. But today, most of them are solid at room temperature. And that tells me they are not as pure as they should be. And so, yeah, if it was just for the reason of using a plant source, vegetable or fruit oil, you would think that would be the way to go. But the only caveat is that they are adding things to it that make it not the great or the full natural palm oils anymore. So you cannot really depend on that, on the current palm oil as they are, for your cooking. That being said, if you can trust your source, if you can know that your source of the palm oil is good, they are not adding anything, it's purely natural, it's just from the fruit and cooked, and bottled, and even if it settles just a little bit at the bottom, it's not the whole thing settling, and you are very sure no animal fat has been added, then I think it's another healthy source of oil for your food. But even with that, palm oil also still has some amount of saturated fats. And so with that, you still have to be very careful, not doing it too much. Because if you do it too much, the point becomes defeated. So I think that's a comprehensive answer there, unless you have anything
Yeah,
to.
so it's like you said, in moderation. Yeah, so the cooking oil I know has gone through a lot of processing. So
You
with
mean the
our
clear
discussion,
oils,
the
right?
clear oil,
Vegetables,
vegetable oil
seed
has gone
oils and
through
stuff.
a lot of processing. So with our discussion from the cholesterol videos, we discourage the use of vegetable oil, semi-seed oil, and all the other oils. I think we ended with avocado oil and olive oil. And you have to make sure that you are buying the right source of oil where they are producing it from. And that is more healthy. It's healthier than palm oil.
All right. All right. Just before we move on, which oil stands more heat? I know you do the cooking and you tell me
The
all the time.
avocado oil.
So yeah, so if you are going to fry foods, then avocado oil is better than the olive oil. The olive oil degrades when you fry or you use it in hot, very hot situations. So if you're going to use, so you could have two different kinds of oil, one from avocado, one from olive oil, and then use your olive oil for like dishes like frying an egg quick, and then you do salad, you want to put a little bit of oil on there, those things that you don't heat it as much. But if you're going to be frying yam, you're going to be frying fish, which we don't want you to do. But if you have to fry something, then use the ones that can withstand more heat. All right. So yes, we will move forward on that. All right. So with that being said, let's move on to our next item, natural substance for blood pressure or hypertension. And that one is hibiscus, or as Gifty would say, hibiscus and green tea. I don't know who's right there. She says hibiscus, I say hibiscus. Figure out who is right. I'm pretty sure that we are both right. If depending on where you are from or where you were born. But I will stick to my hibiscus flower. I remember hibiscus flower in those days.
Yeah.
Did I ever give you hibiscus flower?
No.
Oh, come on, man. That was. I never did. Those are flowers that are really pretty and I love them. The red part of hibiscus flower or hibiscus flower. It's really pretty, very nice, flamboyant petal. Anyway, back to business. So, what has hibiscus flower got in its arsenal that we can call on as medicine or myth? If I'm starting, hibiscus flower is also a vasodilator, which is basically, again, it relaxes your blood vessels. It relaxes the pipes through which your blood flow. And so, because they are relaxed, there's less resistance, and then your blood pressure drops a little bit. And so that is how hibiscus does. And some preparations of hibiscus may be in the form of a tea. They can also do it in some other juices or whatever it is they can compound it to be. But that is how it works. You want to add something?
Yes, so hibiscus also have a property of it being a diuretic. So if you take it as tea, you tend to use the bathroom more often. So it means that you get rid of fluids, salt in the fluid. You keep using the bathroom, and by urinating out that excess fluid, your blood pressure reduces. And it also is also a ACE inhibitor, right? So angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor. So if you know more about medication that is used for blood pressure, you realize that some of the blood pressure medication, the conventional medicine, have this property. It has an inhibitor that inhibit the production of an enzyme that causes your blood pressure to rise. So hibiscus also have that property. It's an ACE inhibitor, and it has a property of medicine, which can help lower your blood pressure.
All right, so we can say that hibiscus is not a myth, it's medicine. Can we agree on that? All right. So hibiscus is medicine, not a myth. It's medicine, not a myth. And so we'll move forward then. So actually, before we go, we said hibiscus and green tea. So what about green tea? So green tea is also mentioned, and some people use green tea as a means to lower their blood pressures. And the reason that green tea may work is that green tea has a lot of what we call polyphenols, and the polyphenols are the ones that are supposedly doing the job of vasodilation, I'm sure, that makes you able to reduce your blood pressure. And again, the amounts of blood pressure lowering from these two substances may not be clinically significant. By saying clinically significant, I'm saying that if you have a blood pressure of some amount and you need to bring it down to some amount, using hibiscus or green tea alone as your medicine may not be enough. And so as an adjunct, or if you like tea like I do, you could probably switch your tea to green tea or hibiscus tea, knowing that you could potentially get a little bit of benefit for your blood pressure there. So that is where its medicinal use actually comes. But no doctor will prescribe you hibiscus tea or green tea and say that, oh, your hypertension, you have 160, you have 150, 180, and I'm going to tell you that go get some hibiscus tea. It doesn't work like that, because it's not going to be enough to bring your pressure low to safer levels. But as an adjunct, again, as an addition, you can use hibiscus tea. If you like hibiscus tea, if you're a tea drinker, I should say, then you obviously would enjoy hibiscus tea or green tea. I personally like the green tea. Even though hibiscus is a beautiful flower, I'm yet to do its tea. And so that is what green tea would do. Due to the polyphenols, you basically dilate your blood vessels. And then, but they don't come without side effects. They have some side effects that we should mention. And obviously, most of these will cause upset stomach. Most of these things will cause you to have upset stomach. And when it comes to the green tea, it would definitely cause insomnia. Any of those side effects of caffeine or coffee would be associated with green tea, especially if you do it so much. And so you could have palpitations. Your heart may be beating faster at some point if you drink too much green tea or too concentrated green tea. And apart from that, other things that you would experience with coffee. You may not be able to sleep well because coffee keeps you awake, right? So if you're doing green tea and doing so much, you may also have that problem of not sleeping well, especially if you do it at bedtime or around the nighttime. You have anything
And
to add?
another side effect, it can cause palpitation. You can have palpitation
I
going
mentioned.
on. Oh, you mentioned it. Okay. And also, like when you are around or you come across people saying that this thing it works for you, they're selling it and they're so passionate about it. It may be hibiscus, and they may be right that it will help lower your blood pressure. But how much lowering is the one that we are very particular about? It will lower it. Some people can make it so potent or so strong that it may drop your blood pressure to a level that is not healthy,
Safe.
that is not safe. So it's out there, all right. So don't get all routed up when you hear people claiming certain things online. Don't throw your medication away and go run for the herbs. It has something in there, but nobody has studied it and nobody has confirmed or agree with the amount that you have to take. So when we were doing the research, we kept coming across more study is needed. More study is needed. I'm sure you don't want to be the guinea pig.
Oh, come on, man. Nobody's a guinea pig who watches it. If you watch our show, don't be a guinea pig. Please, don't be the
You
first to
don't want to
try.
be the guinea pig that you are going to buy a lot of hibiscus leaves and substance and just put it on your stove and just cook it and drink it. You're drinking it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening because somebody claim it works. You don't know. So not knowing, it means that you are putting yourself at risk. So why don't you go with the one that has been studied and proven and you are being monitored by a doctor? You are definitely safer going that route.
You're definitely safer going that route, going for what is known, and rather than. And the last thing about hibiscus, as far as the side effect, is that it can cause headaches. It can lead to headaches, and you may also get a rash from it, skin rash that can develop as a result of using the hibiscus for blood pressure. And the last thing is that for people who have hormonal issues, if I say hormonal issues, if you are dealing with anything that has gotten to do with your hormones, say for example, you are a man, you are using testosterone for some reason, or you're a woman, you are on birth control, or you are on hormone replacement therapy, menopause, you are giving estradiol and stuff, you're treating something with hormones. If you do hibiscus, it may interfere with your treatment. It may actually throw things off, and that could be a problem. So that is another thing to know. Apart from the fact that most of these natural substances interact with your medications. Some of them may also, especially with this one, can interact with disease condition that you may not even be aware of.
And also, if you're diabetic, right, your medication may not work as well. So, if you're diabetic and you feel like your medication is not working, your levels, your blood sugar is not well controlled, it's likely that you are taking certain things that you're
That
not
may be.
supposed to be taking. So, you have to be careful, especially if you are going to go over the board of taking even more. Just taking 1 cup of tea of hibiscus or green tea may be okay. But if you're going to binge on it and drink it because you've heard somebody talk about it, you have to be very careful. It may be interacting with other medication that you're already on.
All right. Okay, so now, with that being said, we're gonna go again to the next one, right? We're good to go. So the next herb or herb that we want to talk about is what we call basil. Basil for blood pressure. And for basil, I actually came across this on TikTok, seeing somebody, requesting it to be shipped to them abroad. This lady was in Germany, and they were asking the moderator to ship and prepare some basil for them because it helps with blood pressure. And Oh, did we ask if hibiscus was medicine or myth? I think
Yeah,
we
I
agree
think
it's
we
medicine,
agreed
right?
it's
All right, all
medicine.
right, all right. So hibiscus is medicine. It's medicine. So now we're going to talk about basil. Now, basil, according to the science, basil contains an ingredient or a compound called eugenol.
You know.
Eugenol, like eugen. And the way eugenol works in basil is it basically also helping to dilate or relax your blood vessels. So if your blood vessels get relaxed from eating or using or drinking, however much you do of basil, that is how it may end up lowering your blood pressure. So that is that vasodilator for basil. The only thing I would add is that in the literature, basil is not as common as something used for blood pressure at all. The others are among the top five of the things that are known to be used by people. But basil, we chose it just because I saw somebody talking about it. And when we researched, it's saying that, yes, some people may have some benefit out of it. But then the literature, the science literature is lacking. There's not much information on it to ascertain whether or not it actually even brings the pressure down to any amount, let alone safe amounts. And so if you are doing basil, what I'm going to say is it may work, but there's no real information out there that it is going to work for blood pressure. And with that, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, so with the study, we came across that it's at the preliminary stage. So they started looking into it, and they are realizing that because of the active ingredients, which is the eugenol, it has a little bit of something that will help lower your blood pressure. But the study continues saying that they need more study so that they can even agree to its effectiveness, or if you can take enough to even affect the level at all. So people have seen this preliminary study and they are jumping on it, and they want to conclude that, oh, basil is something that we can use. And the person that you were talking about may have decided to do away with your medication because basil is something that they can use. It's at its preliminary stage, and you don't want to be
A guinea pig.
a guinea pig.
We finish that sentence for you. You don't want to be the first to be used.
Yes.
And yeah, so basically that's it. It's too new and may not be effective enough for blood pressure use. The only thing is some cultures, especially one of mine too, we use basil for, it smells so good when you put it in food, right? Your jollof rice or whatever food, you put a little basil and you can smell that. It's really nice smell. Keep using it that way, but don't go and start eating or making teas out of basil thinking that it's gonna reduce your blood pressure, because if the scientists don't know, then it is not known. Whoever tells you is by their own anecdotal experience, which may differ from individual to another individual. I mean, it may work for me, but it may not work for the person I live with, my wife. And if it doesn't, if we don't have agreement as to whether it's going to work for most people, then you shouldn't stay with it, especially because it's got its own problems, side effects, which we're going to launch into. Few of them that we know is that basil may actually cause low blood sugar. Oh, my goodness. It may actually cause low blood sugar. And so if you are diabetic, or even if you are not diabetic and you use basil, God knows what could happen, especially if you do it too much. You may collapse on the stairs somewhere. People will be, picking you to the ER, not knowing that you got something in your system called basil. All right.
Yeah. And with that, we can continue with its interaction. Drug interaction, it interact with diabetes medication. It interact with chemo drugs. If you are on any medication like blood thinners, we mentioned warfarin, right? The newer kinds of blood thinner can be Xarelto, Eliquis, and other blood thinners. If you are on such medication, you don't want to binge on herbs that can interact and cause you to clot more
Or bleed.
or bleed when you fall. So it's something that you have to pay attention with.
All right, so I think it's good. Basil helps with blood flow and it helps potentially with blood pressure. That's all we're going to leave you with on basil. Now we can go to the last one, right? Unless you have any new. I think Mr. Boateng, Richard Boateng said thank you earlier. So I put it up there. But if you are watching and you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to put it on the live. Or if you watch it later after we're closed and you put it on, we may see it and potentially respond. But definitely, let's keep talking and watching and sharing and doing all that stuff. All right, so the next one, which kind of excites me a little bit, not that I like it, but I know my women do like it, especially when they are pregnant, right?
It depends what you crave
Oh, come
for.
on, man. This is what we call precursor, eating fruit. And this is one of the oldest, if I should say, not that I've been around for a while, I mean for long, but I think I've seen this while I was a child, especially if you happen to be from the West African coast. You definitely have come across this. Nigerians use it a lot, Ghanaians use it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in Liberia and all those other West African forested areas. And so for them, the first time I saw this was when a pregnant woman gave birth, and then they use it for soup because they say that it increases your breast milk. Come on, man! If you're on live and you know this, just put it on the child. Remember?
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Your mom didn't use it. Oh man, I heard that a lot, and I saw women use tons of this in their soups. You know, they made soup with precursor or Eden fruit, and they had huge, breasts filled up with milk so they could feed their babies. But unbeknownst to them, it has another property, which is this one that is lowering blood pressure. And the way it does, I'm going to start off with that, is that precursor has high amounts of potassium. And if you started with us in our series on this blood pressure season, we said in order for you to lower your blood pressure, you have to increase your potassium intake in order that your sodium levels will go down. So potassium and sodium exchange. If you have more potassium, you tend to excrete sodium, and doing that will help you, lower your blood pressure. Safer potassium, not binging on potassium, by the way. And so it seems to suggest that because precursor or the Eden fruit has high amounts of potassium, people who use it, kind of look for that benefit. So while they increase their potassium levels, then their sodium levels go down and their blood pressure goes down too. So that is how it works in terms of natural ways of getting blood pressure down. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, and with our research, we came across that not only does it lower your blood pressure, it also have anti-inflammatory
And
property
antimicrobial too.
and microbial property. So that's why maybe it's common and people use it in their soup and in their stew. And overall heart health, that we can get that from precursor.
All right. The only thing is that I have a first-hand knowledge of a very dear brother of mine who told me they had precursor, and unfortunately, their pressure came down so low that it was, up to a point of fainting because they became lightheaded. And so, if you overdo it, your pressure can decrease so much that you can actually collapse or fall down. And that is where the danger comes in with natural substances. You don't know how much you need to get the therapeutic results. So the line between therapeutic, benefit and toxic or poison, results are very faint. Nobody really knows. For some people, maybe they just need to use one precursor a day. For some people, they need to use 5. Unfortunately, it's not been studied, and nobody has that recommendation out there that you need this amount of precursor powder to be able to lower your blood pressure to this level, or even to get breast milk. But the ladies of the West African coast, they are smart. they don't they don't put it in just one thing. They put it in a whole pot of soup. And so no matter how concentrated it is, by the time they use it, it's diluted. And so they still get a benefit. But for blood pressure, you can't be drinking a pot of soup just to get your blood pressure down. Come on. You can't do that. You can't do that. So what ends up happening is we usually, buy it and make it into either the juice or the tea, and then it gets so concentrated, and the safety part of pregnancy becomes where you actually are not sure whether you are taking good amount or you are taking, an unsafe amount. So that is the only thing that I am particular with, especially when I heard about that first hand account. I'm like, no, because you don't know how much weight you have, and those of us in conventional medicine, most medications are weight based, especially when it comes to some of these things, and you don't know which to use. There's no government study out there that says that. If you are 150 pounds, you only use one Percocet a day. Tell me that study. Nobody has studied it like that. All we know is, it may help. It helps with breast milk. It helps to lower your blood pressure. It is antimicrobial, or it helps prevent infections. And it's also, what was the other one?
Anti-inflammatory.
Anti-inflammatory.
Your joints.
It helps with your joint and all that. But how much? How much? That's the key. And so if you want to use it, I would say that use safer amounts, maybe a little bit, so that even over a period, maybe like 12 weeks, as we saw in the first one, you will have accumulated enough amounts to get the therapeutic benefit. But you can't trust that, for the first week that my blood pressure has, I'm going to start using Percocet, and then think that it's going to be low. And you never know. Of course, you can monitor your blood pressure to see if it's working for you. But then again, how safe is the amount that you'll be taking? So,
yeah. And if you are even going to monitor it, the batches may differ.
The sources may differ.
The source may differ. And the size, it may look big, but it wouldn't have that potency as compared to the darker one, the lighter one. So there are a lot of variation that you have to consider. So it's a lot of work. So why don't we take the easy route and do all the safe things that we are recommending, than just to hear one thing and throw everything that you know and just binge on one thing. And you may end up collapsing because you may overdo it, and the idea that it's natural, so I'm safe using it, is out of the window.
We proved that that's not good. That's not true.
Because with our research, we came across that it has side effects too.
All of them.
And the side effect of Percocet is nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. You may have diarrhea for overusing it. You may be nauseous for drinking it, or you may be vomiting if it's not even from a good source. You don't know what you are putting in your system. So and definitely also, it has side effects.
And then also it could be toxic. As we're saying, we talked about toxicity in terms of lowering your blood pressure too much because you don't know how much. But the other thing is it can affect your kidneys and your liver. Yeah, it's your liver and kidneys may be touched as a result of that. And that is, I know you are going to say we are biased because we are pharmacists, we do it. No, the point is that it's not been studied.
Yes.
The FDA hasn't studied Percocet, or not just the US FDA. No, none of the FDAs in the world, at least not that I've seen, with any study that says that Percocet can do this, which you all know, yes, it can. But how much, what it does when you take it, how it starts working in your body once you start taking it, and what to look for when you are taking it. Nobody has done that study. Unlike conventional blood pressure medications, if you are on calcium channel blocker, for example, you are in something we call amlodipine, right? We know, or nifedipine, we know for a fact that if you take amlodipine, your blood pressure may go down. And we can also tell you the side effects before you even start. And when you see those things and you come, we tell you, it's from your amlodipine. Okay, let me cut back the dose. You can't do that with Percocet because nobody has done that study. And not only that, it's not been studied for its safety. It's not been, these liver toxicity and kidney toxicities are anecdotal. It's not like real rigorous studies that have been done, just to make sure that we know what we are taking. But conventional medicine, before a medicine is approved to be sold in a pharmacy, it would have gone through all those checks and balances. And we will tell you on the label what it can cost. We will tell you how much is required. And your doctor will titrate you up. Start from 2.5, go to 5, go to 10, or it's hydrochlorothiazide. Oh, all right, let's start with 12.5. We'll go to 25, and if we need be, we'll go to 50 or 25 twice a day. It's there, and we know we can predict it. But some of these cannot be predicted because of the lack of studies. And so, while we are saying that they are useful in this disease state, we also want to caution you that if you take them at your own risk, knowing that you cannot predict how much is needed or how much is toxic, and then how long even the side effects are going to be and what is going to be caused within your internal organs, where the safety is actually more paramount. All right. I think we're good on that, right?
Yeah.
So,
And you said that with the conventional medicine, some we may tell you the side effects, it will cause this, it cause that, and some of them even is listed that it can cause death, right?
just to make you scared, but we usually don't think it will.
It does. Sometimes they just list all that side effects because it's been studied among a bigger population. And somebody may have nausea, you may not have anything at all. Or it will be so minimal that it wouldn't bother you in any way. So people are worried about taking conventional medicine because the side effects are listed. The natural stood, they have side effects, but because they are not listed, it doesn't mean that it does not have side effects. So just don't be scared because you read through the side effects. You may not have it at all. And as a pharmacist, I may advise you that you may have it the first 3 days, the 5 days to a week. As you keep taking it, your body get used to it. And sometimes you take it and you wouldn't even feel anything at all because your system is used to the medication. So please, like we are saying, there may be things out there, people are talking and claiming things. They have medicinal property. We are not disputing that fact, but it needs a lot study, extensive study have to be done before we can conclude on the dose and the amount. So, like we are saying, please, if you take it at your own risk.
Take it at your own risk, knowing that that could be a problem for you. So that image, I just want to show that it increases your potassium represented by the white spots, so that your body will get rid of sodium. All right, so with that being said, let's go through the summary and then we will call it a day. So we have learned that garlic, or Allium sativum, I don't want to say the scientific name. Garlic may help. All right, garlic may help with blood pressure, as well as hawthorn may also help with your blood pressure. And then
hibiscus green tea may help with high blood pressure. Basil may also help with blood pressure.
And then lastly, we also said that precursor or Indian fruit may help. So of these, which one do you think is potentially a myth? I would say that, to be honest, I think the basil is a myth. I think basil. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, because
there's no study out there. There's barely any proof there that it is going to reduce your blood pressure. So we get one myth and 4 medicines, because we talked about So yes, for blood pressure, we think basil is a myth. You can use it for the nice aroma in your food, especially in your jollof rice or your light soup for chicken. Come on, man. I remember them. Chicken soup, light chicken soup. Your basil may work, but not for blood pressure. And everything else, I think we agree that they have medicinal purposes or medicinal uses. But then again, they have not been quantified, they have not been studied, they've not been analyzed and thoroughly researched to be recommended and prescribed for hypertension. That being said, we also said that if you don't have any medications, you don't have anything that you take, and you want to use them as preventative measures, like you do in your green tea, which I like green tea for its polyphenols. It's not just for hypertension. It could be also protecting you from cancers, because the polyphenols are also
Antioxidants.
antioxidants. So you get the benefit of both. But then if you overdo it, thinking that you have blood pressure and it's going to make your blood pressure medication disappear, your doctor will stop you, then that is where it becomes unsafe. And so, yeah, I think we have had a good run, and we can say that some of them are good, right? All right, so we're going to prelude next week show. And next week, we have Dr. Juliet Apia Kwanzaa on the live, who is going to help us break down colon cancer. We're going to talk about some awareness about colon cancer and potentially help you to stop it before it even starts. It's becoming common in our population. Many young people are getting it. And so this is a young lady who is actually an oncologist, trained as a hematologist and also oncologist, medical oncologist, who is going to be here to answer our questions. So make sure you share the stream and invite somebody next week so that we will have a good time with this professional. And do you have anything else? Okay. In the meantime, if you have any other questions that you have not shared, or if you join us later, don't forget to definitely put your questions and your comments online, and we will be careful to see them and answer them. And those of you who joined on TikTok, don't forget our channel. It's just as you saw it on YouTube. We have Dr. Oteng. We have tons of videos, and we want you to join there, subscribe, and see some of the things that you missed, and also potentially watch live on our YouTube page next time so you see our slides as we go forward. And with that being said, we say thank you for joining us, and beloved,
we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless. Have a good week.